Hello people, so looking at GDevelop, in class we had started with the downloadable version, which is good, it has some minor advantages, but it's a bit of a fight because of the versioning, and also it can be a pain saving your work and so on. So we're going to switch, we're going to use the online version from now on. So I'll just go through that and go through the basics that we did last week, and we'll go from there. So try it online is what we do. Now, if you are going to try it online, you do need to save online. So that means you need to have an account with them. So what you will need to do is go click to connect here before you do anything else. Go click to connect and create my account, which I have already done, and log in. And use your school account for this. I'm using my SMH at packranger.school.nz account. It's just going to be easier to keep track with. So log in, and then we can get started. And it should mean that if you suddenly need to do some work from home, then you just be able to carry on with what you've been doing in school. So I'm going to create a blank project. These examples are excellent and you should definitely look at them. But I find that in terms of understanding the nuts and bolts of how to make a project and make things work, then it's a good idea to actually start from scratch yourself. So we're going to start with something, it's going to be a sandbox. Everything I do here I'm going to throw away, so it's a good idea just to do it as a sandbox. Don't get too attached to anything that you make. And waiting patiently, here we are. So it gives you this somewhat unhelpful blank screen, and we need to do some things in here. So at the moment it just says untitled scene. So we've got scenes, untitled scene, which you can rename that if you want to. I want to put something into the scene, so I'm going to create a new object or add a new object. And this is the one limitation. If we say new object from scratch, we can't just make something in Piskel. We can upload things and things like that, but it's just better if for now we just do the easy thing and just use what we've got here. So I can go into here, I can find some characters, and I can say give me, my playable character is going to be an ice zombie with 2 animations. So I'm going to add this into the game. CC public domain, so we can just use it, we're allowed to. It says close. So I've now got my ice zombie here. It's added it as an available object, but it hasn't actually put it in the scene yet, so I'm just going to drag it into the scene, which I did, dragged and dropped. It's teeny tiny. Let's make it bigger, a little bit bigger anyway, not massive but a little bit bigger. Now it doesn't actually do anything yet. If I go and look at behaviors, there's no behavior, which means it is not controllable. So we need to add a behavior to the object, and I'm going to make it a platformer character. So this gives it just the basics of arrow keys and jump and things like that. If I click preview, it will start to work. I wonder where the preview window is going to open. Hopefully right here. Yep, good. And what we will notice is this is not exactly what we want, because it loads my game and then my ice zombie falls off the screen. It has nothing to land on. It's a little bit too big. I'm not a big fan of having massive characters on the screen. So we need something for it to stand on. So if we add a new object, and I'm going to, same tile set, floor, I'm going to add a floor with 9 animations. We'll talk about those animations another time. Basically, it's just going to work for the moment. So I've got a floor here, and if I drag that in, have a little look at what that looks like. Now, the floor is not big enough. I'm going to make it bigger. Right? It's also, I think it should be a tile set, not a one big tile. But I do need to do the same thing, double clicking it to open it up in the editor. You can right click and edit it as well. And same thing, go into behaviors, add a behavior to this object, and the behavior is going to be platform. Platform, something that the character can run on. Apply, and now hit play again, preview, and again waiting patiently. have my little ice zombie, and he goes left and right, and also jumps. So I feel like I've got the beginnings of a game going on here. You notice he's going up and down. He has got animations, and we can look at that. That'd be fun to do that. So let's go. I'm going to minimize that window. I'm going to clone this. Can I just do control and drag? Yes, I can. That's good. So I'm going to make a little bit of a jumping puzzle kind of thing. Well, I'll leave now. Click on the update button, and my other little window should appear. I was hoping, there we go. So now I've got a game because I can run. Oops. It's kind of annoying that you have to. It feels like the up key should make you jump, but that's not what happens. Oh, and I fell off. Now, falling off is annoying. So let's look at one more little thing, right? Is I'm going to look at an event sheet. You notice we're in untitled scene. I feel like I want to rename that actually. I'm just going to call it edit scene properties. I'm going to call it, that's not the right thing to do. I want to rename it. Rename as, I like to call it main. That way you know where you are. So just hit enter, does that take? Yeah. Right, so I've got my main scene here, and it's got events associated with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click add a new event, and going to add a condition, and I'm going to look at my ice zombie, and I'm going to say I want to ask about its position. So condition is like, where actually is it, for instance. So I'm going to look at its y coordinate, y position. I'm going to say if it's greater than, I'm going to say 1,000. The coordinate system is kind of interesting in games in GDevelop and games like this, because like we're used to, we've got x and y axes. X goes this way, horizontally 0 upwards, and we're used to y going upwards as well. But typically in gaming worlds, the coordinate system starts at the top left, and the y coordinate, as it increases in value, is actually going down the screen. So what I'm going to do is, if the y coordinate is too big, which is the thing, the ice zombie, I'm going to set its y position back to where we were. So y position, I'm going to set to, I don't know, actually I should have looked this up, shouldn't I? I'm going to say 100, and then I'm going to go and look it up. Click OK. So if I go back to my main scene, click on my ice zombie, it will actually tell me the position that I've currently got, Y138, which, so 100 wasn't too bad a guess. So Y100, it's basically going to respawn in about that position. Actually the X coordinate as well will reset that, 156. So back into the events, I can have multiple things, change the Y position set to 100, and I can also say ice zombie, change the X position somewhere down here, yep, and set to 156. So now what should happen, it says when the Y position is greater than 1000, which is way off the bottom of the screen, it's going to reset me back to the beginning. So preview and wait patiently. I think it might run a little bit faster in school. So here I am, run and jump and so on. Now if I fall down, there you go. When 1000 is like way down off the bottom of the screen somewhere. When it reached 1000, it said, "Oh, respawn back up here." So that's pretty cool. And you know, so if I go off the edge there, boom. That's enough for one video, isn't it?